the first war chief, 5 years before the Dark Portal. With Zargrel eliminated and respect for the Blackrock clan on the rise, Gul'dan called a meeting of the chieftains and their shaman at Oshogun. The time had come to nominate Blackhand as the Horde's leader, but the warlock had one last ploy to secure support for the new war chief. Gul'dan preyed on the fears of the shaman at Oshogun. They had begged and groveled to the elements for years to no avail. Now they needed to face the harsh truth. The world's feckless spirits had abandoned the orcs. Yet, Gul'dan said there was still hope for the shaman. He proclaimed that the Black Rocks had restored their strength with a glorious new power. Its name was Fel Magic, and it was the orcs' only hope of saving themselves from the Draenei. Gul'dan claimed that the benevolent beings had taught the Black Rocks how to wield this magic. They were eager to secure victory for the orcs. Yet, Gul'dan never revealed the name Kil'jaeden to the clans, nor did he speak of demons. Not even Blackhand knew about the Burning Legion. Only Gul'dan's most loyal Shadow Council agents were aware of the full truth. The Blackrock warlocks demonstrated their magics on captive Draenei, siphoning the prisoners' life essence and burning them from the inside out. Having been powerless for so long, the shaman pleaded with the Blackrocks to share the secrets of their fell might. Even Drek'Thar of the Frostwolves besieged Durotan for permission to learn this magic. Though plagued with suspicion about fell magic and its seemingly corrupted properties, the chieftain gave his blessing to Drek'Thar. To deny his shaman such power would be to put the Frostwolf clan in a place of weakness. Durotan would not allow that to happen. Drek'Thar was only one of many shaman to embrace fell magic. Orcs from all clans tutored under Blackrock warlocks. It was just as Gul'dan had planned. The Blackrocks and their chieftain were seen as the masters of fell magic, and they were treated with immense reverence. As the shaman basked in the strength of fell magic, Gul'dan addressed the orcs once again. He warned that the Draenei were mobilizing their defenses. If the clans did not work together, they would surely lose the war, even with fell magic at their command. What the orcs needed was a single leader to oversee military operations, a war chief to command the chieftains. And who would be better to fill such a role than Blackhand, who had led his clan to victory after victory against the Draenei? Some chieftains saw Blackhand as a rival, but none could deny his power. He held the secrets of fell magic. He had also transformed his clan into an unstoppable war machine. If the chieftains named Blackhand their leader, perhaps he could do the same for their clans. In the end, the vote was unanimous. Durotan himself begrudgingly cast his lot with Blackhand, whom he saw as a tyrant. The Frostwolf chieftain feared that, if he were the only voice of dissent, he and his clan would face dire consequences from the Blackrocks. The Horde now had a fierce and unbending leader, War Chief Blackhand. Under his guidance, the orcs would no longer fight in disarray. They would strike with purpose and precision. They would grind the Draenei to dust and sweep their remains from the world.
For the ancestors, for the clans, for the Horde!
The drums of war. War Chief Blackhand set out to unify the clans and forge the Horde into a proper fighting force. He ordered his Blackrock Masons to construct a new capital in the western Tanaan jungle. This imposing stronghold would become known as the Citadel. It would act as a neutral ground for the clans, a place where chieftains could meet and strategize about battles to come. The Citadel would also house the Horde's warlocks. Within the fortress, they could hone their abilities and tutor apprentices in the ways of fell magic. Gul'dan and his Shadow Council would use the Citadel as their new headquarters. Very few orcs would know of this, not even warlocks outside of the Order. The Shadow Council would blend in with the stronghold's other As masons laid the citadel's foundation, Blackhand instituted new rules to structure the horde. Thus far, the clans had launched attacks against the Draenei with reckless abandon. Blackhand would not stand for such disorder in his ranks. He knew the strengths and weaknesses of the clans, and he gave them each a specific role in the horde. The smallest and most mobile clans would act as scouts, raiders, and auxiliary forces that could quickly move from one region of the world to another. These clans included the Bleeding Hollow, the Dragon Maw, the Shattered Hand, the Thunderlords, the Shadow Moon, and the Bone Chewers. Blackhand also formed a new clan called the Blacktooth Grin, composed of soldiers hand-picked by the war chief himself. It would serve as a scouting arm of the Blackrock clan. The rest of the clans made up the Horde's main fighting force. They would lead direct assaults on Draenei settlements, and they would form the backbone of the Orcish army. Chief among these clans were the mighty Blackrocks, Warsongs, and Frostwolves. At first, not all clans accepted Blackhand's orders willingly. Many orcs bristled at the thought of an outsider commanding them in battle, even one who bore the title of War Chief. Blackhand won the support of some of the orcs with offers of power, but more often than not, he relied on violence to secure their obedience. The new war chief was a tyrant, and he did not accept insubordination. Not from his own clan, not from any member of the Horde. Blackhand publicly executed anyone foolish enough to speak out against him. He threatened entire clans with annihilation should they try to resist his will. With the Blackrock clan at his disposal, the war chief had the power and means to make good such threats. Begrudgingly or not, the clans gradually accepted Blackhand's rules and settled into their roles in the Horde. To maintain order and discipline in his armies, Blackhand surrounded himself with mighty lieutenants. The greatest of them were Aetrig, Orgrim Doomhammer, and Varrock Sourfang. Each of these orcs would have made a successful chieftain in his own right. Orgrim and the other lieutenants oversaw the Blackrock war machine as it churned to life. Smiths slaved away at the forges in Gorgron day and night. Plumes of thick smoke blotted out the sun. The Blackrocks crafted thousands of new weapons, armor, and siege engines for the clans. The price of fell magic. For War Chief Blackhand, armaments were only one part of his plan to strengthen the Horde. To increase the number of soldiers at his disposal, the War Chief offered ogres and Mok'Nathal a place in his armies. He also sent his most powerful warlock to the other orc clans. They could use their fell magics to imbue adolescents with the strength and fury of adults. Nearly all of the orc chieftains embraced this new technique, seeing it as a way to bolster their clan's forces. Durotan was the exception. The thought of subjecting young Frostwolves to the warlock strain's magics unsettled him, but he had no choice. Blackhand had made it clear that anyone who resisted his command would suffer, as would their entire clan. Durotan placed the safety and security of the Frostwolves above all else. Before his eyes, the Blackrock warlocks flooded his clan's youths with their green magic, warping them into hulking, bloodthirsty warriors. This brutal empowerment technique was not the only thing that troubled Durotan. The rampant use of fell magic was changing the orcs. Their brown skin was becoming splotchy and green. Though Durotan didn't know the exact cause, he suspected that the warlock's magics were to blame. The shift in skin color was a dire sign. It only affirmed his belief that the power wielded by the orcs had sinister origins. The rest of the orcs were not troubled by this transformation. If a change in skin color was the price they had to pay for fell magic, so be it. The Twilight's Hammer. While the Horde was rising, the Pale flourished in catacombs beneath Nagrand. Generations ago, the Society of Exiles had tapped into the void energies emanating from K'ur, the decaying Naru contained within Oshogun. Their dark power rivaled even fell magic in potency. Rumors of the Pale and their otherworldly abilities eventually reached Gul'dan. Though the warlock paid little heed to the stories, Kil'jaeden was intrigued. The Demon Lord pressed Gul'dan to ensure victory over the Draenei at any cost. That meant investigating the Pale and determining whether their magic could strengthen the Horde. Gul'dan sent his apprentice, Sho'gal, to learn more about the Pale. If the exiles proved as mighty as the rumors claimed, he commanded the Ogre Mage to bring them into the Horde. Sho'gal threw caution to the wind and stormed into the Pale's underground caves. The Ogre Mage expected a fight, but he found none. The Pale did not resist his intrusion. They were eager to share their prophecy of doom, which they called the Hour of Twilight. The Pale saw this as the time when shadow would envelop the universe and snuff out all life in existence. Sho'gal had little interest in the Hour of Twilight. Far more intrigue to him was the Pale's shadow magic. He had never experienced its like, and he knew it would serve as a potent weapon for the Horde. To win the exiles to his side, Sho'gal used their beliefs to his advantage. He claimed that the Horde was a means to an end, a weapon by which they would bring about the Hour of Twilight. The Pale reveled in this opportunity to serve as agents of Apocalypse. They committed themselves to the Horde and formed a new orc clan known as the Twilight's Hammer. As he learned to master shadow magic, Sho'gal also began to see the truth in the Pale's prophecy. It would take him many years, but the Ogre Mage would eventually devote himself to their quest.